Hey guys, it's Molly. Welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing kind of a follow-up to the video that I did called When Christian Leaders Fail. There was some great conversation that was created by that video, and I wanted to unpack a little bit more some thoughts about the issue of abuse and being unsafe in an unsafe situation as a woman. So we're going to get into how we as women, as Christian women, can protect ourselves from being in a situation that could lead to abuse. But before I get to that, I want to talk about what I said about how we should have compassion on Christian leaders when they fail, so that if they want to come back to Christ and they want to repent, they feel like there's an open door for them. I want to make it clear that having compassion on someone who has done something that is a sexual misconduct does not mean that there shouldn't be major consequences for that person's behavior, especially if they're a Christian leader. But even if they're not a Christian leader, there should be major consequences. Their behavior should come out in the light. And that person, if they're a Christian leader, should be removed from their position. So I want to make that clear. And also, I want to express the importance of, if you are a victim of abuse, there should be huge boundaries put up between you and that person. But it doesn't mean that we can't forgive that person, we can't have compassion and pray for that person to come to Christ, because that's what Jesus would do. But it does mean that there are consequences, major consequences, and discipline that should be done, as well as boundaries for those involved in this situation. All right, moving on from there, before we get into just a way that we can protect ourselves as Christian women from abuse, I want to talk about how the church has, in the past and even now presently, sometimes failed women to stand up for women that have been abused. And I want to just talk about this, because I'm sure there are some women that are maybe even watching this video that have felt like the church didn't stand up for them. And I'm really sorry that you feel that way, and I'm sorry that that's been your experience. And I want you to know that not all churches are like that. So please keep seeking out a church that has strong Christian leaders, pastors, and elders that will listen to you if you are going through a situation of abuse. I feel like the church has sometimes, not every church, but some churches have failed women by, for example, not contacting the authorities and police when there has been a crime committed, and just saying, we'll deal with it in-house, we'll deal with it ourselves. If there's a crime committed, the authorities need to be contacted, so that person that committed that crime does not repeat that behavior. Things need to be brought out in the light. The second way I think sometimes the church or Christians have failed women is by not listening to women, letting them share if they feel unsafe with a man, or if they have been abused by a man. Sometimes we can think the best of people and say, well, that could never happen to that person. I mean, I think a lot of us thought that about Ravi Zacharias. We were like, what? Like, this doesn't sound like him. But I do believe that Christians and the church, their responsibility is to hear women out. If they are bringing an offense, something that has been done to them, whether even if it's just verbally inappropriate comments or to the point of sexual abuse, they need to hear that woman out. They need to investigate, of course, and figure out if this is true or not. But they need to listen and advocate for the woman that has been abused. And so again, what I want to say is, I am sorry, so sorry if you have been in a situation where you came to a Christian or Christian leader or the church and they didn't hear you out. I'm so sorry that that has been your experience. And like I said, I want you to know that not all churches are like that. Oh, my heater just came on. I'm going to turn that off so it doesn't make that loud noise. So moving on to the main point of this video and how we as women can protect ourselves from abuse, I'm just sharing two really simple tips, things that I have enacted in my own life. So maybe some of you are like, okay, I already know these things, but hopefully it will be helpful to some of you, because I think it is important to kind of think through how you will handle yourself and how to be watchful and aware of things. So my first tip is, if you are getting a weird vibe from a guy, you're just feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe they haven't even said anything. This has happened to me when the person hasn't said anything, but just the way they look at me, or just the way they're acting around me makes me feel uncomfortable. If that happens to you, listen to that intuition and make changes in your behavior based on that. Try not to be around that person alone and try to avoid that person maybe, because we want to be on the offense. We don't want to be on the defense when it comes to safety as a woman. And I think being overly cautious is a good thing, because that's better than realizing later, oh, I had these warning signs in my mind and I wasn't listening to them. Now, just because you have a weird vibe and a weird intuition about someone doesn't necessarily mean 100% that is true. Maybe the person is a little quirky, a little weird, or doesn't know how to handle themselves socially. So don't go around and telling everybody, this person isn't safe, this person isn't unsafe, and telling all your girlfriends. I would encourage you to tell your spouse or a parent and just say, hey, I feel a little uncomfortable around this person. I just want you to know I'm just gonna avoid being around this person, or I'm gonna only try to be around this person when other people are around. I think that's a good way to handle it. But like I said, don't just be going around and blasting on this person's character when you don't know for sure. Okay, my second piece of advice is, if there has been advances made, an inappropriate comment has been said, maybe they're messaging you, someone is messaging you on social media and you've asked them to stop and they keep messaging you, or they ask you to send inappropriate pictures, or they have actually abused you. If there's been an action done, you do need to tell somebody. If it's at school, go tell your principal or the school counselor or your teacher. If it's at work, go tell your boss or the HR department. If it's at church or someone in your church, go tell the leadership, go tell the pastors and the elders. It needs to be said. And if a crime was committed, then of course the authorities, the police need to be contacted. I know I hear so many stories of women being so afraid to tell someone else. And this is what happened with Ravi Zacharias. And for example, in one of the situations where he had sexual misconduct with a woman, he had said to her, if you tell somebody, then I don't feel like I can live anymore, or I don't feel like I can go on with life, something along those lines. Those kind of words are abusive and manipulative words to get the victim to not share anything. And if you're ever feeling like, well, they may say something like, well, no one will believe you, or, well, you were a part in this behavior, or like Ravi Zacharias, well, if you tell someone, then I can't live anymore. Do not listen to those manipulative comments, statements. You need to tell someone, because what they're doing is not right and it needs to come out in the light. And you owe it to yourself to tell somebody, but you also owe it to the other women that person may go on to abuse if you don't tell someone. So that's what I want to share with you guys today. I know this isn't a very lighthearted, yippee, fun video, but if this can protect at least one woman from being in a situation where they're abused, or can help a woman get on the road to healing if they have been abused, then this video is worth making. So please share in the comments below if you have anything else you would add to how you protect yourself from not being in a situation where abuse could happen. Please let me know. I would love to share, and I'm sure other women would love to hear as well. So I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful to you, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Okay, see you guys next week. Bye.